Imagine this. It is the first of the month. You check your bank account and you see $2,800 sitting right there. Now fast forward to the 30th. You check again and there is still money left. Not because you got a raise, not because you skipped every fun thing in your life, but because you had a system, a plan that put every single dollar to work for you before the month even started. Now here is the reality check. Most people your age, Gen Z, young adults in their 20s, are doing the opposite. Money comes in on payday, and by week 2, it feels like it just evaporated. You check your account and wonder, where did it go? And the honest answer is, it went everywhere and nowhere at the same time, because there was no plan. In 2026, with rent up, groceries up, subscriptions quietly bleeding your account every month, and the cost of everything just higher, the old advice of just spend less does not cut it anymore. You need a real system. And today, I am going to give you that system, step by step, from scratch. It is called zero-based budgeting. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to build it, how to use it, and how to make it work on your income, whether you are making $2,000 a month or $4,000 a month. Stay with me. This one is worth your full attention. Hey, welcome back to Uncle Jay's Space. If you are new here, this is the place where we talk about money, building wealth, and making smart financial decisions as a young adult. No jargon, no judgment, just real talk that actually helps you move forward. My name is Jay, and today we are doing something I have been planning for a while. A full, detailed, no-fluff walkthrough of zero-based budgeting. One of the most powerful personal finance tools that most people your age have never been properly introduced to. This video is long, and intentionally so, because I am not going to give you a 3-minute overview that leaves you with more questions than answers. I want you to walk away from this video ready to open a spreadsheet or an app and actually build your budget today. Before we get into it, quick disclaimer. Everything I share in this video is for educational purposes only. I am not a licensed financial advisor, and this is not personalized financial advice. What I am is someone who has done the research, gone through the process, and wants to help you understand your options. Always do your own research and consult a professional for your specific situation. Here is what we are covering today. Why zero-based budgeting works better than the popular 50-30-20 method in today's economic climate. Then we walk through building your very first zero-based budget from the ground up. After that, I show you real examples using realistic 2026 numbers. We look at the best apps and tools available right now. I break down the most common mistakes people make so you can avoid them. And finally, I give you a 30-day action plan so you know exactly what to do after this video ends. Let us get into it. Chapter 1. Why zero-based budgeting works better than 50/30/20 in 2026. The problem with the 50/30/20 rule. The 50-30-20 rule is probably the most widely taught budgeting method out there. The idea is simple. 50% of your income goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings. Clean, easy to remember, which is probably why it gets shared everywhere. But here is my honest take. The 50-30-20 rule is a great starting point and a terrible finishing point. Here's why. First, it works best when your income is predictable and your expenses are stable. But for a lot of Gen Z, neither of those things is true. You might be on a gig economy income, doing freelance work, or working multiple part-time jobs where your take-home varies every month. The 50-30-20 framework was not designed for that reality. Second, and this is the big one, the 30% wants category is dangerously vague. When your budget tells you that you have 30% for wants, it gives you permission to spend up to that limit without asking what you are actually spending it on. So your takeout habit, your streaming subscriptions, your impulse Amazon purchases, your Friday night out, they all quietly pile up under wants. And because the category is so broad, it is very easy for it to creep from 30% to 35 to 40 without you even noticing. Third, and probably most relevant in 2026, the cost structure of life has shifted significantly. Rent as a percentage of income is higher than it has been in decades for most young people. Groceries have not come down to where they were a few years ago. And subscription creep is real. The average person is now paying for 4 to 6 streaming services, a cloud storage plan, a gym membership they barely use, 2 or 3 apps, and maybe a food delivery subscription. Added together, that can easily hit $250 to $350 per month just in recurring charges. The 50-30-20 rule does not force you to look at that. Zero-based budgeting does. What zero-based budgeting actually is. Zero-based budgeting is built on one core principle. Every single dollar of your income gets assigned a specific job before the month begins, so that when you subtract all your assigned expenses from your income, the result is zero. And I need to say this clearly because it trips people up every single time. Zero does not mean you have $0 left. It means $0 are unassigned. Every dollar has a destination: rent, groceries, savings, debt payment, fund money, investments. Nothing is floating around unaccounted for. Think of it like this. Imagine your income is a team of workers, and each dollar is one worker. In a 50-30-20 budget, you tell your workers, roughly half of you go to necessities, roughly a third go to fun stuff, and the rest try to save something. Some workers figure it out. A lot of them get lost. In a zero-based budget, every single worker has a specific task. Worker number 1, your share of rent. Workers 2 through 50, groceries, transport, electricity, phone bill. Worker 51 through 100, your emergency fund contribution, and so on. No one is wandering around without direction. This approach was originally developed for corporate budgeting. Large companies would justify every expense from scratch each budget cycle rather than just rolling over last year's numbers. It was adapted for personal finance by Dave Ramsey and later popularized through tools like NAB, which stands for You Need a Budget. Why it fits 2026 specifically. In 2026, we are living through a few specific financial pressures that make zero-based budgeting more relevant than ever for young adults. Inflation may have cooled slightly from its peak, but everyday costs, rent, food, utilities, have not returned to where they were. That means the margin between what you earn and what you spend has gotten thinner, and you simply cannot afford to leave money untracked. By now, pay later services have also exploded in popularity among Gen Z. Klarna, Afterpay, Affirm. These tools make it very easy to spend money you do not technically have yet, and the payments scatter across future months in a way that can quietly sabotage a vague budget. A zero-based budget forces you to include those payments explicitly, so you always know what is coming out and when. And then there is the gig economy. Freelancers, creators, delivery drivers, remote contractors. A significant portion of Gen Z earns variable income. The 50-30-20 rule does not handle that well. Zero-based budgeting, as we will see in the examples, can be adapted specifically for irregular income in a way that keeps you protected even in low-income months. Chapter 2. How to build your first zero-based budget. Alright, this is the practical section. We are actually going to build a budget together, step by step. I want you to have something open in front of you, a spreadsheet, a budgeting app, even a piece of paper, and follow along. Step 1. Know your exact monthly take-home income. The foundation of your entire budget is your take-home income, not your gross salary, not your hourly rate multiplied by hours, but the actual amount that lands in your account after tax, pension contributions, and any other automatic deductions. If you are salaried and paid monthly, this is easy. Check your last pay slip for your net pay figure. If you are paid bi-weekly, multiply your net paycheck by 2. If you are paid weekly, multiply by 4. If you are a freelancer, a content creator, or you do gig work where your income varies, here is the method I recommend. Look at your last 3 months of income. Find the lowest month. Use that as your budget baseline. This is your conservative floor. If you earn more in any given month, that extra money gets assigned too, but you never plan around earning more than your worst recent month. That cushion protects you. Also factor in any side income you receive consistently, not occasionally, but consistently. If you reliably get $50 a month from a referral program or a small online shop, you can include that. But if it is unpredictable, leave it out of the base and treat it as bonus when it arrives. Step 2. List every single expense. Now here is where most people shortcut and where most budgets fall apart. You need to list every expense, not the ones you remember, but all of them. To do this properly, go back through your last 2 months of bank statements and card statements. Every transaction, go line by line. You will find things you forgot about. An annual subscription that charged last month. A recurring donation. A streaming service you no longer use. A gym you have not been to since January. These are the things a loose budget misses and a zero-based budget catches. Group your expenses into 5 categories. First, needs. This is everything that is non-negotiable. Rent or mortgage, groceries, electricity, water, gas, transport to work, phone, internet, minimum debt payments, any essential insurance. These come first always. Second, savings and investments. And yes, I am putting this before wants deliberately. Pay yourself first. This includes your emergency fund contributions, any retirement or investment account contributions, and specific savings goals like a travel fund, a car fund, or a house deposit fund. Third, debt repayment beyond the minimums. If you have student loans, credit card debt, or any other liability you're trying to pay off faster than required, put that here. Fourth, wants. This is where your lifestyle spending lives. Dining out, entertainment, hobbies, clothing, personal care beyond the basics, concerts, apps, that coffee you buy every morning. Be honest here. Do not underestimate. Fifth, your fun fund. I keep this separate from general wants because I want you to have a specific, protected amount each month that is guilt-free. Even if it is $40, it matters psychologically. Step 3. Assign every dollar. Now you take your income and you subtract your expenses category by category until you reach 0. If you reach 0 and everything is covered, great. If you reach 0 and some needs are not covered, you have a gap problem, and you need to either earn more or cut something. If you have money left over after covering everything, those leftover dollars get a job too. Extra debt payment, boosted savings, next month's buffer. Every dollar gets assigned. This process will feel uncomfortable the first time. You may discover that your actual spending does not match what you thought it was. That discomfort is valuable information. It is not a reason to quit, but to keep going. Step 4. Track daily. Building the budget is only half the work. The other half is tracking. Every time money leaves your account, for any reason, it needs to be recorded against the relevant category. Most modern budgeting apps do a lot of this automatically, pulling from your bank feeds. But in the early weeks, I recommend reviewing and manually confirming each transaction so you actually see where your money is going rather than just letting an algorithm handle it invisibly. 2 to 3 minutes a day is all it takes once you are set up. Set a reminder on your phone. Make it a habit the same way you check your messages. Chapter 3. Real Gen Z Examples. $2,000 versus $4,000 income. Theory is one thing. Seeing it in practice is another. I am going to walk through 2 complete zero-based budgets using realistic 2026 figures. One for someone bringing home $2,000 a month, and one for someone bringing home $4,000 a month. These are ballpark figures, and your numbers will differ, but the structure is what matters. Example 1. $2,000 take-home per month. Let us call this person Alex. Alex works part-time and does some freelance graphic design on the side. $2,000 per month is the conservative baseline. Rent in a shared apartment, $700. Groceries, $300. That is roughly $75 per week, which is realistic if you are cooking most of your meals at home. Transport, including bus pass and occasional ride shares, $120. Utilities, including Alex's share of electricity and internet, $60. Phone bill, $45. Subscriptions, 1 streaming service, cloud storage, 1 music app, $45. Emergency fund contribution, $150. This is going into a dedicated high-yield savings account. Debt repayment, minimum payment on a student loan, $200. Fund, $150. Miscellaneous buffer for unexpected small costs, $75. Add all of that up, and you get exactly $2,000. Income minus expenses equals 0. Every dollar has a job. Now notice what Alex did right. Alex prioritized the emergency fund even on a tight income. Alex included a fund instead of eliminating fun entirely, which makes the budget sustainable. And Alex included a miscellaneous buffer, because in real life, unexpected small costs happen. A copay, a haircut, a replacement charger. That buffer absorbs those without breaking the whole budget. Example 2, for $1,000 take-home per month. Now let us look at someone further along. Let us call her Maya. Maya has a full-time job in marketing and brings home $4,000 per month after tax. Rent for a solo apartment, $1,200. Groceries, $500. Maya eats well and occasionally hosts friends. Transport including car insurance, fuel, and maintenance fund, $300. Utilities, $100. Phone, $55. Subscriptions, streaming, fitness app, productivity tools, $80. Investments into an index fund, $500. Maya is building long-term wealth. Emergency fund top-up, $300. She is working toward a full 3-month emergency fund. Debt repayment, aggressively paying down a credit card for $100. Dining out and entertainment, $250. Personal care and clothing, $150. Miscellaneous and travel savings, $165. That totals $4,000 exactly. 0 unassigned. What is striking about Maya's budget is how much intentional wealth building is happening. $500 per month into investments, $400 into debt elimination, $300 into emergency savings. That is $1,200 per month actively improving her financial position. Over a year, that is $14,400 moving in the right direction. Handling irregular income. Now let us talk about what happens when your income is not a clean fixed number each month, which is the reality for a lot of people watching this. Here is the method that works. First, calculate your lowest income month from the past 3 months, or 6 months if you have had a more volatile period. Build your budget around that number. Cover your needs first, then savings and debt, then wants, using whatever is left after the non-negotiables. When you have a higher income month, the extra money does not become spontaneous spending money. It gets assigned immediately. You might put it toward your emergency fund, make an extra debt payment, or fund next month's budget buffer. This approach means you are never caught underprepared in a slow month, and you are never wasteful in a good one. Some budgeting apps, particularly Inab, have a specific feature for this called income parking, where you receive income and hold it in a waiting category before assigning it to budget lines. This is incredibly helpful for variable earners, and I will show you how it works in the apps section. Chapter 4. Best apps and tools for zero-based budgeting in 2026. You do not need a fancy app to do zero-based budgeting. A simple spreadsheet works perfectly well, but the right tool can make the process significantly faster and more consistent. Here are the best options available right now, and who each one is best for. Inab, you need a budget. Inab is the gold standard for zero-based budgeting specifically. It was built around this exact philosophy. Every dollar gets a job. The interface guides you through assigning income to categories. It connects to your bank accounts in most countries to pull in transactions automatically, and it has excellent reporting tools that show you trends over time. Over a year, that is $14,400 moving in the right direction. Handling irregular income. Now let us talk about what happens when your income is not a clean fixed number each month, which is the reality for a lot of people watching this. Here is the method that works. First, calculate your lowest income month from the past 3 months, or 6 months if you have had a more volatile period. Build your budget around that number. Cover your needs first, then savings and debt, then wants, using whatever is left after the non-negotiables. When you have a higher income month, the extra money does not become spontaneous spending money. It gets assigned immediately. You might put it toward your emergency fund, make an extra debt payment, or fund next month's budget buffer. This approach means you are never caught underprepared in a slow month, and you are never wasteful in a good one. Some budgeting apps, particularly an app, have a specific feature for this called income parking, where you receive income and hold it in a waiting category before assigning it to budget lines. This is incredibly helpful for variable earners, and I will show you how it works in the apps section. Chapter 4: Best Apps and Tools for Zero-Based Budgeting in 2026. You do not need a fancy app to do zero-based budgeting. A simple spreadsheet works perfectly well. But the right tool can make the process significantly faster and more consistent. Here are the best options available right now, and who each one is best for. In AB, you need a budget. In AB is the gold standard for zero-based budgeting specifically. It was built around this exact philosophy. Every dollar gets a job. The interface guides you through assigning income to categories. It connects to your bank accounts in most countries to pull in transactions automatically, and it has excellent reporting tools that show you trends over time. The cost is around $14.99 per month, or just under $100 annually if you pay up front. There is a 34-day free trial, which I recommend taking fully. Use those 34 days to build your first month's budget and track it religiously. By the end, you will know exactly whether it is worth paying for. INAB also has one of the best communities and educational resource libraries of any financial app. Their YouTube channel alone is worth exploring for tutorials specific to the platform. Google Sheets, free and flexible. If you are not ready to pay for an app, or if you simply prefer to see exactly how your budget works under the hood, Google Sheets is outstanding. It is free, it is on every device, and you have complete control over the design. I have a free template linked in the description below. It is pre-formatted for zero-based budgeting with income at the top, category rows with subtotals, and a running balance column that shows you how close to zero you are. You can duplicate it and use it immediately. The limitation with Sheets is that it does not automatically pull in your bank transactions, so you are doing manual data entry. For some people, that is actually a feature. It forces you to consciously touch every transaction. For others, it is a friction point. Know yourself. Copilot Money. Copilot is one of the most beautifully designed personal finance apps available right now, and it has become very popular with Gen Z users specifically because of how it looks and how intuitive it feels. It connects to your accounts, auto-categorizes transactions, and gives you a clean visual dashboard of your spending. It is not a strict zero-based budgeting tool in the way an app is, but you can configure it to function that way using its flexible budget system. It is iOS only, so Android users will need to look elsewhere. The cost is around $13 per month. Every Dollar. Every Dollar is Dave Ramsey's zero-based budgeting app, and it follows the same basic philosophy very closely. There is a free tier that is functional for manual budgeting and a paid tier that connects to your bank accounts. It is simpler and more stripped back than an app, which some people prefer. Fewer features means less to learn. Excel and Notion. Microsoft Excel works exactly like Google Sheets and is a solid choice if you prefer working offline or if your employer provides Office for free. Notion is worth mentioning as well for visual thinkers. You can build a remarkably clean and personalized budget tracker in Notion using its database features. It requires a bit more setup, but the result can feel very natural if you are already using Notion for other parts of your life. My recommendation: if you want the most powerful dedicated zero-based budgeting tool, use an app. If you want something free and transparent, use Google Sheets with the template in the description. If you are on iOS and prioritize design, try Copilot. Chapter 5: common mistakes, and how to fix them. I want to spend real time on this section because these mistakes are predictable, and if you know what they are before you start, you can avoid months of frustration. Mistake 1. Forgetting irregular expenses. This is the most common beginner mistake, and it will blow your budget before the month is even over. An irregular expense is anything that does not charge monthly: annual software subscriptions, car registration, holiday gifts, dentist visits, back-to-school shopping, quarterly insurance payments. Most people budget for their monthly bills and completely forget about these until the charge hits and throws everything off. The fix is what is called a sinking fund. For each irregular expense, estimate the annual cost and divide it by 12. Set aside that monthly amount in a dedicated savings category. So if your car insurance renews annually at $1,200, you put away $100 every month into your car insurance sinking fund. When renewal comes, the money is already there. Go through last year's bank statements and make a list of every non-monthly charge you paid. That list becomes your sinking fund setup list. Mistake 2. Budgeting without tracking. A budget with no tracking is just a wish. I hear from people all the time who say, "I had a budget, but it never worked." When I dig into it, what happened is they built the budget at the start of the month and then never looked at it again until the end of the month when the damage was already done. Zero-based budgeting requires daily, or at minimum every other day, tracking in the early months. You need to see, in real time, how much of your restaurant budget you have used by day 15. That visibility is what changes behavior. Set a phone reminder for 2 minutes every evening. Log your transactions. After about 6 weeks, it becomes automatic. You will not need the reminder anymore because you will just know where you stand. Mistake 3. Making the budget too restrictive. There is a particular kind of budgeter who goes all in on day 1. Cuts every non-essential, assigns every spare dollar to debt or savings, leaves nothing for enjoyment. And they last about 3 weeks before they blow the budget in a single weekend of frustrated spending. Restriction without breathing room leads to budget burnout. The fix is simple. Always include a fund. Even if it is small, $30, $50, give yourself a category that is guilt-free. When that money is spent, it is spent. No guilt, no borrowing from other categories. And when it is gone for that month. That constraint actually makes it more satisfying because you know you earned it and planned for it. Mistake 4. Not adjusting mid-month. Zero-based budgeting is not a rigid contract. It is a living plan. Real life happens. Your car needs an oil change. You get invited to a birthday dinner. You realize you massively underestimated your grocery spending this month. When something unexpected happens, the correct response is not to abandon the budget. It is to do what budgeters call a budget roll. You take money from a lower priority category and move it to cover the overage. Maybe your fund covers half the car repair and your miscellaneous buffer covers the rest. You document it, you learn from it, and you adjust next month's budget to reflect the reality you discovered. Set a weekly 15-minute budget check-in. Sunday evenings work well for most people. Review what you have spent, confirm your remaining category balances are accurate, and make any necessary adjustments. This keeps the whole system accurate and prevents small overspends from silently compounding. Mistake 5. Expecting perfection in month 1. Your first zero-based budget will not be perfect. You will forget categories. You will underestimate expenses. You will miss a transaction or two. That is completely normal, and it does not mean the system is failing. It means you are learning your actual spending patterns for the first time. Treat months 1 through 3 as a data collection exercise. Each month you refine the numbers based on what you actually spent rather than what you thought you would spend. By month 4, your budget should start to feel like it actually fits your life rather than fighting against it. Chapter 6. Your 30-day action plan. Everything we have covered today only matters if you act on it. So let me give you a clear, day-by-day framework for your first 30 days. Not overwhelming. Not perfect. Just a realistic plan to get you started and keep you going. Week 1. Setup. days 1 to 7. Day 1. Collect your income information. Find your last pay slip and note your net take-home. If you have variable income, open your last 3 months of statements and find your lowest monthly income. Days 2 and 3. Go through 2 months of bank and card statements and list every expense. Categorize each one. Do not judge yourself, just observe. You are gathering data. Day 4. Choose your tool. Download an app and start the free trial, or open the Google Sheets template from the description, or set up every dollar. Whichever you choose, commit to it for the full 30 days. Days 5 and 6. Build your first budget. Assign income to all 5 category groups: needs, savings, debt, wants, fun. Subtract until you reach 0. Day 7. Do a full review of what you built. Does it feel realistic? Are there categories you missed? Adjust before the budget goes live. Week 2. Track. Days 8 to 14. This is the most critical week. Every single day, log your transactions. Every coffee, every grocery trip, every transfer. Do not let a day slip. At the end of week 2, do your first mid-month check. Look at which categories are running hot and which have plenty left. This is pure information. No judgment, just observation. If something is significantly off, say, you have already used 80% of your grocery budget in 2 weeks, note it. That category might need to be higher next month. Week 3. Adjust. Days 15 to 21. By now you have real data. You know which categories are realistic and which were wishful thinking. This week, stay the course on tracking and allow yourself to do small budget rolls when needed, moving money from one category to another when life requires it. Also this week, start thinking about any irregular expenses coming up next month. A friend's birthday? A subscription renewal? Build those into your sinking funds now. Week 4. Review. Days 22 to 30. In the final week, continue tracking. And on day 30, do your first full budget review. Ask yourself these questions. Which categories did I consistently overspend? Which did I underspend? Did I have any unexpected expenses that I was not prepared for? How did it feel to track every day? Stressful? Eye-opening? Both? Now build next month's budget using everything you learned. Your second budget should feel noticeably more accurate than your first. That improvement is the process working exactly as it should. And if you ended the month with money left in any category, celebrate that. It means you gave your dollars jobs and they did their work. We have covered a lot of ground today, and I want to close with this. Zero-based budgeting is not about restriction. It is not about living like a monk or giving up everything you enjoy. It is about control. When you decide where your money goes before it arrives, you stop wondering where it went after it leaves. That shift, from reactive to intentional, is genuinely life-changing over time. The truth is that the gap between financial stress and financial stability is usually not a giant income difference. It is almost always a planning difference. People with the same income can end the month in completely opposite financial positions depending on whether they had a system or not. Today, you have a system. Your one job right now is to take the first step. Just one. Maybe it is downloading an app and starting the trial. Maybe it is grabbing the budget template from the description and spending 20 minutes filling it in tonight. Maybe it is just going through 2 months of bank statements to see where your money actually went. Any one of those actions moves you forward. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me your single biggest money challenge right now. Is it keeping up with rent? Clearing debt? Saving consistently? Knowing your numbers, but not knowing how to act on them? Tell me, because it helps me make videos that actually address what you are dealing with. The free budget template is linked in the description below. It is completely free, no email required. Download it, use it, and let it do its job. If this video gave you something useful, please hit the like button. It genuinely helps more people find this content. And subscribe to Uncle Jay's Space for more practical, no-fluff personal finance content every week. Thank you for spending your time here today. Take care of your money, and I will see you in the next one.